The marble floors of Westfield Financial gleamed under the morning sun streaming through floor-to-ceiling windows. Robert Callahan sat behind his mahogany desk, CEO of one of the city's most prestigious investment firms, surrounded by a dozen executives waiting for the quarterly meeting to begin. At 48, Robert had built his reputation on reading people, on knowing within seconds whether someone belonged in his world or not. His navy suit was pressed to perfection, his salt and pepper hair precisely styled, his leather chair a throne from which he surveyed his empire. Then the boy walked in. He couldn't have been more than 12, wearing a faded olive t-shirt and jeans with worn knees. His brown hair stuck up at odd angles, and he clutched a piece of paper in his hand like it was a treasure map. Security had somehow missed him, and now he stood in the center of the executive floor, looking small and lost among the suits and marble. Robert's assistant, Margaret, hurried toward the boy, but Robert held up a hand. This was too interesting to interrupt. The quarterly reports could wait. "Can I help you, son?" Robert asked, not unkindly, but with the amused tone of someone watching a fish flop onto a dock. The boy squared his shoulders, trying to look bigger than he was. "I need to check my balance, sir." A ripple of barely suppressed laughter went through the executives. Robert smiled, leaning back in his chair. "This would be a story for the country club." "Your balance," Robert repeated. "I see. And you came all the way up to the executive floor to check your balance?" "Yes, sir. The lady downstairs said only you could help me with this account." The boy held out the piece of paper with a hand that trembled slightly. Robert gestured for him to approach. This was clearly some kind of mistake. Probably a school project gone wrong or a dare from his friends. But there was something about the boy's earnestness that made Robert want to see it through, if only for the entertainment value. The paper was old, worn soft at the creases like it had been folded and unfolded many times. Robert took it, expecting to see a child's crayon drawing or maybe a play money check. What he saw instead made his smile freeze. It was a passbook, the old-fashioned kind they'd stopped issuing 20 years ago. But it was real, stamped with the Westfield Financial seal. The account number was from their legacy system, one of the original accounts from when his father had founded the bank in 1963. The name on the account read, Peter Novak, in trust for Ethan Novak. Robert's hands had gone very still. He knew that name. Peter Novak had been his father's first business partner, the man who'd invested his life savings to help start Westfield Financial, when everyone else had said it would fail. "Where did you get this?" Robert asked quietly. The amused tone had vanished. "It was my grandfather's," the boy Ethan said. "He passed away 3 months ago. My mom found it in his things. She said he always told her to make sure I got it, but she didn't know what it meant. We thought maybe it was empty, but Mom said I should check. That I should come myself because Grandpa would have wanted that." Robert's fingers moved across his keyboard, typing in the ancient account number. The system took a moment to search the archived records. Then the screen populated. The room had gone completely silent. Every executive was watching now, the quarterly meeting forgotten. Robert stared at the number on his screen. Then he looked at it again, certain he'd misread. "Sir?" Ethan's voice was small. "Is something wrong? Is it closed?" Robert slowly turned his monitor so the boy could see it. "No, son. It's not closed." The account showed an initial deposit of $5,000, made in January 1963, with 62 years of compound interest. Through every market boom and recession, through careful investment management by the bank's trust department, that $5,000 had grown into something else entirely. The balance read $847,392.16. Ethan stared at the screen, his young face struggling to comprehend the number. Is that real?" "It's real," Robert said softly. He sat back in his chair, but it no longer felt like a throne. It felt heavy. He remembered Peter Novak now. Really remembered him? His father used to talk about Peter, about how the man had believed in the bank when he had nothing, how he'd invested every penny he had and then worked 2 jobs to keep his family fed, while the bank found its footing. Robert's father had bought Peter out in 1968, when the bank started to become profitable. He'd paid him well, or so Robert had always been told. He'd never known about this trust account. "My grandfather worked at a factory," Ethan said quietly, still staring at the screen. "He retired when I was little. He used to tell me stories about when he was young, about taking chances on things he believed in. He said someday I'd understand. Robert looked at the boy standing before his desk, wearing clothes that had probably come from a discount store, clutching a piece of paper that represented his grandfather's faith in a dream from 60 years ago. He thought about his own office, his luxury car in the parking garage, his vacation home in Aspen. He thought about the quarterly reports, waiting on his desk, about the bonuses he and his executives were about to vote on, bonuses that would total several $1,000,000. "Sir?" Margaret approached cautiously. "Should I call legal? To process the account?" Robert was quiet for a long moment. Then he stood up and walked around his desk, crouching down so he was eye level with Ethan. "Your grandfather was a remarkable man," Robert said. "My father started this bank with his help. Without your grandfather's faith and his investment, none of this would exist." He gestured to the gleaming office, the skyline beyond the windows. "Everything you see here started because a factory worker believed in a dream." Ethan nodded, solemn. "This money is yours," Robert continued. "It's been earning interest for 62 years, waiting for you. We'll process everything, get it transferred properly. It should be enough to pay for college. Maybe buy a house someday, start a business if you want." He paused. "But I want you to know something else." "What, sir?" "Your grandfather taught me something today. He reminded me that this bank was built on regular people taking chances, believing in each other. Somewhere along the way, we forgot that. We got too big, too fancy. We started measuring success in quarterly profits instead of the dreams we help people build." Robert stood looking at his assembled executives who were watching in silence. "Your grandfather's investment helped build this bank. The least we can do is honor his memory properly." Over the next hour, Robert did something he'd never done before. He had Margaret contact the local newspaper. He had the legal team expedite the account transfer. And he had his foundation team draft a new scholarship program, the Peter Novak Memorial Scholarship for children of working class, families who wanted to start their own businesses. As Ethan was leaving, clutching new paperwork that would change his family's life, he turned back. "Mr. Callahan, why are you being so nice? Mom said that rich people don't usually help people like us." Robert felt something twist in his chest. "Your grandfather helped me even though I never knew him. He helped build something that gave me opportunities I might not have had otherwise. And he did it by believing, by taking a chance, by being brave enough to invest in something bigger than himself." He knelt down one more time. "The money is yours. You earned it through your grandfather's faith. But more than that, you reminded me why we do this work. It's not about the marble floors or the fancy offices. It's about helping regular people build something better." After the boy left, the executives stood in uncomfortable silence. Finally, the CFO cleared his throat. "Sir, about the quarterly meeting—" "Postpone it," Robert said quietly. "I need to review something first." That afternoon, Robert went home early for the first time in 5 years. He dug through his father's old papers, stored in the attic, until he found what he was looking for. A photograph from 1963 showing his father and Peter Novak shaking hands in front of a small storefront that would become Westfield Financial. His father had written on the back, "The day Peter believed in our dream. Never forget where we started." Robert had forgotten. They all had. The next board meeting, Robert proposed reducing executive bonuses and redirecting those funds into community investment programs, microloans for small businesses, and financial literacy programs in working-class neighborhoods. "We started because someone believed in us," he told the surprised board. "It's time we returned the favor." Not everyone agreed. Some executives left, some board members voted against him. But Robert didn't care. He'd seen something in that boy's face, in that worn piece of paper, that reminded him of what his father had actually built. Not just a bank, but a promise. Years later, when Ethan graduated from college debt-free and started his own business, helping other working-class kids navigate finances, Robert attended the opening. On the wall was the old passbook, framed with a plaque underneath, because someone believed. "The thing about success is this: it's easy to forget where you came from. It's easy to measure worth in stock prices and quarterly profits. It's easy to laugh at a boy in a worn t-shirt who walks into your executive office. But sometimes that boy is carrying something more valuable. than all the marble floors and leather chairs in the world. Sometimes he's carrying a reminder of what faith looks like, what trust looks like, what it means when regular people believe in something bigger than themselves. Robert learned that day that the real balance wasn't in the account. It was in the debt he owed to the factory worker who'd taken a chance 60 years ago, who'd believed when belief cost everything, who'd invested not just money, but hope in a future he'd never see. That's the balance that matters. That's the one worth checking. And that's the one Robert finally, gratefully got right.